Hello and welcome to what we can promise will be an exciting evening. And thank you for joining us for the next couple of hours, us being QTV and our partners Star TV. And this is the Thet Pledge-A-Thon. Throughout the evening, you'll get to learn what a Pledge-A-Thon is all about. Yes, it sounds a bit like a telethon, and they're kind of related. They're kind of cousins, probably. As the evening goes on, you realize why we're doing this and why you might want to get involved, and we promise you're going to love it. I promise you. I'm Ari Darami, Head of News at QTV, and to my left, she'll introduce herself, and all our guests will introduce themselves. Please.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Yasin Sanya, and I'm the Director of Education Support and Workforce Development at the Thet Fund.
And I will now go to my extreme right.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Jordan Rutambedu, and I'm the Executive Director of the Thet.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sidi Abijame. I am the Finance Director of Thet Fund.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Modou Toure, Program Director for the Thet Fund.
Good evening. I'm Kumbel Good, Director for Infrastructure and Strategic Partnership with the Thet Fund.
And now, so you know who all the people are who are here. And as we go into the evening, you'll find out what the Thet Fund Pledge-A-Thon is all about. And we have a kind of strap line, and it says, Building Tomorrow, one pledge at a time. And throughout the evening, you'll hear people come and talk about why it's important to get involved with this initiative and why education matters. All the countries we admire all over the world, we admire them because why? Because of the progress they make, and they make that progress, almost all of them, because of education, not because they have strong armies or anything like that. Education has always been the key to drive every country forward, including our own, and that's what this is all about. And so, Yasin, if I can come to you, I think you're going to be our chief inquisitor, yes, and you'll be asking some of our guests about the Thet Fund and about, so let's start, please.
Yes, I'd like the team to, of course, start with sharing with the public, what is the Thet Fund? What do we do in our office?
Okay.
So, Doctor, if I could come to you.
Sure. So the Thet Fund was established by an Act of Parliament last year, and it was established, our mandate is to mobilize resources and provide strategic investment in our tertiary and higher education institutions to ensure that our institutions are of high quality and that our graduates are skilled, have relevant skill, and their workforce ready as well.
Thank you. And just to say to the viewers and the listeners on radio, throughout the evening, we'll be giving out some phone numbers for people to phone in and pledge, but also we're having people come into the studio to actually pledge in person. And they will also, when they come in, they'll tell us why they feel the need to get involved in this and why they have decided to make this bold step and make public their pledges. Yasin, over to you, please.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Georgia. And since the Thet Fund has been established, what work have we been doing and how have we been engaging our stakeholders?
Thank you so much. Since its establishment in late 2025, our executive director started in December 2025, and most of our other colleagues also started in January, February 2026. Since then, we have been doing a lot of partnership engagement. We have gone round to institutions. We call on stakeholder engagement, where we bring about 400 individuals and partners, those from the institution, those from the industry, those the students' body, as well as to bring them together to discuss with them what are the challenges in our institution and how best can we work together to see that we can mitigate the issues in the institution. From there also we went around from one institution to another to see what's on the ground so that we will use, because we understand the importance of data, because we want to do whatever we do is guided by the data we collect from our partners and from the institutions themselves. And that's what we have been doing since our inception to date.
Thank you.
If I could just add on to what my colleague just shared as well. It was important that we took this approach in terms of starting off with getting data and making sure that the programs that we have in place are informed by that information. Sure. So us starting off, the team, as he mentioned, started in February. But we started off by saying, as opposed to prescribing solutions to our partners and stakeholders, it's important for us to understand what these challenges are and inform our programs accordingly. So the stakeholder engagement happened in different formats.
Right.
We had the stakeholder engagement workshop in February, and after that we had what we called site visits, where we actually went to the institutions that fall under our mandate, meet the administration, meet the students, interact, and just get first-hand information about what is required on the ground. And all of this information compiled and allowed us design our program going forward. And after we had the stakeholder engagement as well, based off of the information we gathered and the needs of the student, we actually had an interesting program. I think it was the first of many, and people are still talking about that. It was the National Career Fest. And this was an opportunity for us to bring students, employers, administrators, really everybody within the ecosystem into one environment, have them learn, have them engage, have them network, but also provide them access to opportunities. So we had what we called an opportunity wall, and we pasted scholarships, job opportunities, and it was really exciting to see internships. Exactly. It was really exciting to see the students just flock to the wall, but also engage in the different programs that we had throughout the day.
Now it sounds like you guys are really quite busy and doing quite a lot. So if before I come back to Yasin, I wonder, Kumbel, if you could just tell us what's the size of the team that's involved in this, and do you have a physical office?
Yes, we do have a physical office. So we're at Bijilo. We share the same building as the National Social Protection Agency and the Student Revolving Loan Scheme and the National Research and Innovation Fund. We all share, we're all housed in the same building. And our team is a modest size of 11. So all the work we do that you see on the front end is managed by the size of 11 employers. Yes.
So before I come back to Yasin, just again, viewers, anybody just tuning in either on radio or on QTV or Star TV, it's the Thet Fund Pledge-A-Thon. And throughout the evening, we're here for a couple of hours, and we hope you will stay with us for those couple of hours. And throughout, as well as having people come into the studio, we'll be showing a series of videos where people will be talking about why they got involved in this project and what it means and the importance of it. Yasin, over to you.
Great, thank you. And just to piggyback off of all of the great work and information and data you collected through those stakeholder engagements, how has that then informed the event for tonight? Why are we here? Why this Pledge-A-Thon now? And how has our stakeholder engagements informed it?
Yes. So the Pledge-A-Thon, I'm sure everybody's wondering,
what is a Pledge-A-Thon? Yes, define it for us and why we're here.
So the Pledge-A-Thon is a national call to stakeholders within the ecosystem. So we're talking about companies, businesses, government representatives, Gambians in the diaspora, a call to them to invest into education. And the reason we are calling it an investment as opposed to a donation, it's we've come to a point where we need to see that education is something individuals have a stake in, Gambians have a stake in. So the Pledge-A-Thon is that stake, is that opportunity for individuals to see that. And this investment will be channeled through 4 main areas, which I'll delve into if time permits.
Yes,
but the 4 main areas that the Pledge-A-Thon will be investing into would be in providing digital infrastructural support to TVET centers that fall under our mandate, to select TVET centers, provide foundational institutional strengthening for 13 institutions, again, that fall under our mandate, support apprenticeship and internship program to support 100 students, but also to provide capacity building support to 10 instructors in TVET, within the TVET ecosystem in the Gambia.
Thanks.
I wanted to add.
Yeah, please, yes.
So it's in different layers. We're trying to mobilize funds in different layers. The first, so the government has allocated $50 million to the Thet Fund this year. So the government, it's an investment into the Thet Fund, right?
Sure.
And this is what we're using for our first pilot funding windows. Sure. Now we're calling on Gambians to contribute towards the education system as well. Sure. Before we go out to international partners and donors, we want Gambians themselves to contribute towards our education system, because this is for all of us. Yeah. And we are going to, as Director Kumbel mentioned, we're going to use some of these funds for some of these pilot funding windows to have some learnings from it and be able to scale it at the national level.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, at this point, I did say that throughout the show, we'll be having a series of videos that will tell you something about why we're doing this, and some people will be telling us why it is important to get involved in this. And the first person, of course, Minister of Higher Education, no other than Professor Gomez. Here he is. Have a look and have a listen.
Sector and other development partners to chip in, to also contribute their quota. And so that we have that Republican union, government, private sector, development partners, all coming on board to contribute their quota so that we train the youths of today and for the emergence of a highly skilled, youthful population. And with that, we have the guarantee that things are in safe hands. We call on them to come and support this telethon, to come and support the Thet Fund, and there's hope. We need to build the house. This is the moment where we come together around the table of academic sisterhood and brotherhood and build a better Gambia.
Make a pledge today. Join us in investing in education and empowering the future. For pledge enquiries, email kgoode@thetfund.gm. That's KGOODE @thetfund.gm, or email info@thetfund.gm, or call +220 502 2898. That's +220 502 2898. Building tomorrow, one pledge at a time. Thank you for supporting the Thet Fund.
And there we heard from Professor Gomez, and he was explaining something about why this matters and why it's important. And I did say that throughout the evening, we'll be getting people coming and pledging physically here. Some will be doing over the phone, and when they do that, we hope they will inspire you and they'll tell us why they've decided to pledge. But before we go to our first pledger, I think Yasin has a very important question for a very important person who's here with us. Yasin, over to you.
Yes, of course. As we implore the public to contribute financially, I think it's important for us. Kumbel has shared exactly how the funds will be used, but how can we instill confidence in them that they can trust the Thet Fund and there's safeguards in place about where their contributions will be going? Sidia?
Okay, thank you so much, Director Yasin, for that question. It's actually a very, very, very important question. I think when you talk about trust, that is well deserved, that everybody need to have confidence in the investment that you make. When you talk about trust, it starts with good governance. And then the Thet Fund, the structure of the fund, we have a board of trustees. And then if you look at the composition of this board of trustees, it's enough to build confidence in people about their investments, because the composition is of people from diverse areas. People that have good track records of doing good things in this country, obviously, and then they are the one oversight that provide that oversight over the Thet Fund's finance, and we report to them. Now, if you look at the reporting mechanisms, we report in such a way that we report how the monies are being used from different tracking locations. Whatever has been invested in the Thet Fund is carefully tracked and then reported to them as how we use those things. Now, if you come to operationally as well, we have a budget in Thet Fund. But if you look at that budget as well, over 60% of the budget is going to our programs. Right. Okay, so that shows that how committed we are to the mandate of the Thet Fund, and that is just the budget. But looking at it operationally and then how we are operating over the 7 months or so, I can promise you that less than 40% that was budgeted for operations is even being used, and then we are being able to achieve this thing by saving wherever we can, so that all the monies that have been invested in the Thet Fund is going to the programs that we do. So obviously we have all the structures, all the reporting lines and transparency to make sure that all the pledges that we receive are well put in. Thank you.
Lydia, thank you for that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And now, many of you, I'm sure, have been waiting for this moment. We said some of the pledges will come and they'll be in the studio and they will pledge. And so I think we have to call our first pledger, Miss Faith Eme, Mrs. Faith Eme, of the Standout Foundation.
Yes.
So please, if you would do the honors,
Okay.
present, and then tell us why you are, or tell us why, and then
okay.
you can, yeah,
All right.
please, yes.
Thank you very much for having me here today. My name is Faith M. Mother, Executive Director of Standout Foundation. And our vision is to build a future where every child and young person has access to quality education, irrespective of their background or their abilities. And I mean, this is a need, this is an urgent need, because I mean, according to statistics, globally, we have about 273 million children and young people that are currently, out of school. And Sub-Saharan Africa kind of poses to have a larger stake in that. And so we know this calls for a collaborative, partnership, and that is why Standout Foundation is collaborating with the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund through our 6 areas, of impact, which is scholarship, teacher training, capacity development, inclusive infrastructure, STEM, SRHR education, and also life skills. And I mean, what other way than to do this, than to pledge?
Sure.
And because we believe that every child deserves to have that quality education, and education is a fundamental right and not a privilege. And so, having said that,
Well, let me just say that you don't realize it, but you've made history, because
Thank
this is the
you.
first time that
Thank
something like this
you.
has been done in the Gambia,
Yeah.
and you are the first to be able to pledge here on QTV and on Star TV. The world can see, the world can hear. So please, if you
Thank
will just
you.
let us know how much you're pledging and hand over.
so today, on behalf of Standout Foundation, we're pledging
Ouch.
a
Careful.
sum of $14,770, and this is to ensure that we support young people in the Gambia, giving them that opportunity they deserve. And so we're excited on behalf of Standout Foundation. We're happy to do this today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so there you have it, $14,770 to get us off and running. And as we go throughout the program, we will be giving a kind of running total on the screen, and you will see how much is pledged. And more people will be coming and pledging throughout the evening. So we have to say a huge thank you to Mrs. Faith Eme and the Standout Foundation for being the first. As I said, historic. This itself is historic. We've had telethons before, but never a pledge-a-thon. And so not only is it the first one, but then you're also the first to pledge. And we really have to say thank you. And honestly, to everybody who is going to pledge and who is making this sort of commitment, as Kumbel said, this is an investment. It's investment in us and in our future. Yes, if we want to take control of our futures, we have to do it ourselves. Yes, we can't expect anybody else. Okay, so once again, thank you. And
Thanks, Mayor.
Yasin, over to you. Any questions?
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I know Honorable Gomez, Prof. Gomez mentioned that government can't do it all, right? We need more private sector and foundations, civil society organizations to join in on this as well too. So we commend you, definitely. We appreciate the investment.
So we just want to confirm, before we go on air, that you haven't changed your mind.
No.
It is 14,770.
Yes, that is it.
14,770, and we will see the pledges that we received, 14,770, and so that's a nice number to get us off and running. So yes, so sorry to interrupt there.
No,
Yasin,
no, that's okay.
but I just thought we did promise that we would keep a running total on the screen,
Yeah.
and we have to do that. Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Faith. We appreciate this contribution here. Do you have anything to share with the public to encourage them to believe
Oh yes, I mean, anyone that knows me knows I speak so much about education. I am very passionate about education, and I feel this is a great cause because this is a collective effort, a call to action. And if you're home, if you're watching, please pledge. It's not late, so let us get the funds coming in so that we can support young people and also give them that opportunity they really, really, really deserve.
Sure.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for
so
that.
much.
So much.
And as I said, throughout the evening, we'll be getting more and more people coming and pledging. And as they do, we will also be giving out some numbers where people can call in and pledge. And some people who have not been able to make it here, we will call them and they will make their pledges over the phone. So do stay with us. And as I said, we hope it's going to be an exciting evening. And we hope by the end of the evening, we've raised lots and lots of money. And we want to exceed even our wildest dreams in terms of what we raise.
Exactly.
Yes, so please stay with us for the duration of this. And we're here for a couple of hours. It's not that long, really. Sunday, you can rest tomorrow.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Perfect. Thank you so much. And then over to the fund team as well too. As we encourage people to call in and pledge, we have our numbers here: 359-3333,
yes.
359-4444, or 359-8888.
Very easy to remember.
Yes.
So the 359 bit you can already put in your head. Okay, the first bit is 359, 3333, 4444, 8888. After that, simple. Yes, could not be easier. And so really, we want people to call in and yeah, please. You know, they always say when they have these call in, no time wasters, please. But having said that, there's no amount that we say, oh, that's too small, because people tend to be very, very sort of passionate about education, as we heard from Faith there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And for anybody not able to call in today or pledge right now, how else can they get in touch with the fund or contribute?
Yes. So I think it's before I even answer that question, I think it's important to know that even though we're here today for the Pledge-A-Thon Live, but the fundraising still continues even after here. So you are welcome. Don't think because you've not reached out today, then you're out of it. We will be reaching out, and we are hoping that as well, if you do want to participate with the fund, that you can come on board. Aside from the phone numbers today, you can reach out to us via email on info@thetfund.gm, info@thetfund.gm, and we'll give you all the instructions as is necessary.
Yes, I'm glad you made that point, because we don't want people to think, oh, the show's over, that's it.
Yeah.
No, this is a never-ending thing. You know, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, we hope, because education never ends. You know, in our team, even in our small team, in the QTV newsroom, our own motto is learn something new every day.
Every day,
And
indeed.
so, and that is part of this thing about, you know, education is a never-ending process. Yeah, and so, you know, this is something that we very much want to emphasize. So yes, you know, as I said, throughout the evening, people will be coming and they'll be pledging. And we have our next pledger. And thank you for coming. And it's from the Trust Bank. Is that correct, Mr. Alex Gomez?
Yeah.
Mr. Gomez, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And so before you pledge, please tell the viewers why Trust Bank feels the need to get involved in something like this.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Alex Alassane Gomez, and I'm the head of marketing and business development of Trust Bank.
Welcome.
I'm here to represent my able MD, who would have loved to be in this session, but due to unavoidable circumstances, he couldn't, and had delegated me to come and share what we have at Trust Bank. So I just want to start off with why we feel it is important and necessary to chip in also as a bank to support this worthy cause. Good evening, distinguished guests, members of the Thet Fund, viewers at home, and fellow partners in nation development. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of Trust Bank, I would like to express our appreciation to the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund for this initiative and for giving us the opportunity to be part of such a worthy national cause. At Trust Bank, we firmly believe that education is one of the most powerful investments a nation can make. It is the foundation for innovation, economic growth, social progress, and the development of future leaders. As a responsible corporate citizen, supporting education has always been a central pillar of our corporate social responsibility program, because we recognize that investing in people is the surest way to build a stronger and more prosperous Gambia. It is therefore with great pride that Trust Bank makes this contribution of $200,000 towards the Thet Fund. We hope this donation will help expand opportunities for deserving Gambian students to access quality tertiary and higher education regardless of their financial circumstances. We commend the government of the Gambia and the Thet Fund for establishing a sustainable mechanism to support higher education and for bringing together the public and private sector in this shared national responsibility. Nation building requires partnership, and we are proud to stand alone or stand alongside other stakeholders in advancing this important agenda. As the Gambia's leading indigenous bank, Trust Bank remains committed to supporting initiatives that promote education, youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, healthcare, sports, environmental sustainability, and community development. These investments reflect our unwavering commitment to creating lasting value for the communities we serve. We encourage other institutions and individuals to continue supporting the Thet Fund so that together we can empower the next generation of professionals, innovators, and leaders who will shape the future of our country. Thank you once again to the Thet Fund for this recognition, and thank you to the people of the Gambia for the trust and confidence you continue to place in Trust Bank. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, Mr. Alex Alassane Gomez. We are the ones who should be thanking you. Because in case anybody didn't hear it, 200,000 from Trust Bank, and we really, really are grateful. And you will see it up on the board, and also for those who have a television, the numbers are on the screen. But for those who are listening on the radio, 359-3333, 359-4444, 359-88, and now Mr. Alex Alassane Gomez will formally present the check from Trust Bank. Mr. Gomez, please, the honors. And we had it. Not only did he present the check, but from the speech you heard him, he really nailed it. This is a shared national initiative, and he talked about why we need to invest in our people. And as we keep saying, you know, and we'll say it throughout the night, we all benefit from it. Mm-hmm. The country benefits from it. And if we're serious about national development, this really is the way forward. We can't expect anybody else to do it for us. So once again, Mr. Alex Alassane Gomez, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. I think. Do we have another video, or shall we press on? Pardon me? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And we see the commitment here for a Gambian establishment here. We've already seen as well to contributions that we made when we started with our board chair as well too, Mr. Mohamed Jah. And so you've said it here, Mr. Ade, as well too, that we are encouraging ownership for the public to do that as well. So if you can share with us perhaps one of the key places that these funds will be going to, some specifics there on how the fund will invest this.
Thank you so much. The fund we are gathering, as we discussed, we're targeting 4 different areas. The first one is about supporting internship and apprenticeship for our students. If you can observe that recently you have about 1,000 or more than that graduates from the University of the Gambia. You have other thousands from the CSU, from the UEG, Gambia College. So most of these students, they need to attach them to institutions so that they can get the practical knowledge and experience and also be able to get employment. So that's why we are targeting the students to at least to be exposed, attached to institutions, to have this intensive experience to institution. Another thing we are also targeting, going around to institutions, we find that nowadays we rely a lot of internet. We are in the generation of internet, and you visit so many institutions, they don't have internet connectivity at all. And we understand that children will learn best if they utilize the internet to give them, to get the necessary skills that will able to improve and give them the necessary skills for employment. So we are also targeting to support a provision of internet connectivity to 5 institutions, especially those in the rural area. Another target we are also doing is to provide foundational institutional support to institutions. Unfortunately, you go to some institutions, the government is doing a lot. The lecturers are also doing a lot, but there are certain basic dignity of life that are lacking in the institution. For example, you go to some institution, even water can be a problem. That's why we are targeted to invest. The funds we gathered, some of it is going to support a borehole system, a water system in an institution, and also some learning materials. Because most of these Tibet institutions, they don't rely on only theory based. We have to do a lot of practicals, and there are a lot of learning materials gap in the institution. Therefore, whatever we gathered here, we'll also be going to invest on providing equipments and training material for institutions.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you come in, we don't want this to be like school where you come, you sit, and we just talk and talk and talk at you. We want you to be involved, and that's why we keep telling you about these telephone numbers if you want to get involved. So I'll call them out: 359-3333, 359-4444, 359-8888. There are people waiting for your calls. So please, it's the Thet Pledge-A-Thon, and this we've had 2. And the number is on the screen, rather, 214,770, and that's just from 2. That's just from 2. So, okay, and so throughout the evening, we will also be playing a series of videos. We said, and I think, Mr. Director, can I please call for the next video from Basiru J? Please, can we have the video from Basiru J? And again, this will explain some of why we're doing what we're doing today. Have a look and have a look.
Investing in higher education is investing in the future leadership, innovation, and the progress of the Gambia. Every doctor that you see today, every lawyer, every teacher, every public servant who is transforming the nation was one passed through an institution of higher education. So investing in higher education is a long-term investment. Across the country, I've worked with young people who are very talented, but you see a lot of them are struggling with finance. And when you invest in higher education, you invest in the future of the nation, whether through capacity building, whether through supporting a scholarship, whether through having a long-term pledge, as the team said, for national development. This Pledge-A-Thon is joining it is building the future that we want. And the future that we want is investing in education. So I call on each and every stakeholder, whether you are a philanthropy, whether you are from the civil society, whether you are from the private sector, whether you are from the diaspora. We know that diaspora, they are really important in giving remittances to the country, but let it go beyond that. Every pledge that you make will transform a life of a young person out there, because we should not be a country where people young people have dreams, and their dreams will be shattered just because they have financial.
And as we promised throughout the evening, we'll be playing these videos, and we want it to be interactive. We want it to be, you know, to keep flowing. And before we come to the panel discussion, a really, really good panel that we've got assembled for you. Once again, I'll give the studio numbers, and the people are saying, nobody's calling us. So 359-3333 and 359-4444 and 359-8888. And it's the Thet Pledge-A-Thon. And we now have a panel discussion, and we have a theme, and it's everybody's business, building a national culture of ownership around education. What a beautiful theme. And so if I could come to my extreme right, please introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Ibrahim M2, the communications personnel of the National Youth Service Scheme, the Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good evening, viewers. My name is Ismaila Fadera. I'm the president of the 24th Executive Council of the University of the Gambia Students' Union.
Welcome to the program, sir.
Good evening. My name is Ismail Abaji. I'm the founder and CEO of Innovarex Global Health.
And for somebody who needs no introduction.
Again?
So we won't even ask her to introduce herself. It's fine. I think they know who you are
yes,
by now.
I think so.
So Yasin, could I come to you? I've said the theme is everybody's business, building a national culture of ownership around education. If you could just kind of set the scene for us about why we've chosen this before we come to the panel, really.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And thank you to our guests for joining us today. And a recurring theme throughout the night will be about why we should encourage all Gambians to take ownership of education and beyond just financial contributions. Because, again, we've mentioned this here. If we want to build an education system that produces the graduates that are ready to enter the workforce, that are skilled in relevant ways, it begins with every key stakeholder group, students, private sector, the education system, government, all taking a stake and a stand in what needs to change and what needs to be developed as well too. And so that is why we have our panelists here to share how each of these different key stakeholders can play a part in building the education system.
And we're also trying to emphasize throughout the night that we're getting beyond the thing about, oh, this is government's job or it's donors' jobs, you know. No, it's our job, you know. Let us do it. And if we do it, we will feel proud of the fact that we've done it ourselves, we funded it ourselves. We haven't left it to anybody else to do it. So yeah, that's very much the theme that will be a kind of recurring theme, as Yasin says,
Exactly. So we can go to our first question, of course. So what does ownership mean to you? So in the context of your sector, exactly, how can you take ownership of the education system in the Gambia? I'll go to you.
Thank you. Ownership at our level, when you talk about the National Youth Service Scheme, we didn't see ownership just as the responsibility of either the schools that provide education or the government. So what we see ownership as is the responsibility of every individual, the private sector, the government institutions, employers, you know, schools, the community, and even young people themselves. You know, it becomes not just the responsibility of the government, you know, to provide institutions and provide probably lecturers and all whatnot. But again, it's our responsibility also to make sure that these opportunities that are out there, to go for them and grab them, because at the end of the day, they are for us. At the level of the National Youth Service Scheme, we do that in different stages. For instance, one of the areas, one of our co-intervention areas is the National Youth Service Graduate Program, which we take young graduates from different universities around the country and give them the opportunities to go through various institutions. But again, before we do that, we camp them at our level, and then we have 2 weeks of orientation with them where we bring experts from different areas to come and talk to these individuals. Not just experts, but we also have the armies with them at the camp. And these are the armies that take them through different disciplines, so that they become better off when they get into those sectors. But also in the same vein, we also have the TVET program that we are offering. You know, it's whereby we give scholarships to young people that finish grade 12 for them to go into different TVET institutions, because the notion that those that went through probably universities and have soft skills are better than those that go through TVET education. So we also want to bridge that gap. Now, that is why we go in all out to make sure that we provide all these opportunities for young people, but also it's not the responsibility of the young people that are out there to go and get those opportunities. Sometimes, you know, it's not a matter of being in TVs and all whatnot, but it's also our responsibilities also to find these opportunities. You know, basically that's when you talk about ownership, those are the key areas that we actually target to make sure that we get to each and every young person and to make sure that we give them the opportunities that they deserve.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You want to
Good. At our level, we will take it as a shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Shared responsibility in the sense that parents have a role to play in taking ownership. Government has a role to play in taking ownership. Students have a role to play in taking ownership. Even the civil society too have a role to play in taking ownership. Because education, it's beyond providing money. Let's say you're providing money, but you're not doing monitoring. You're not doing advocacy. All these things are ownership that, you know, I believe, you know, when we talk of taking ownership, it's a shared responsibility, because people sometimes see education as the role of the government, and it is beyond that. Let's say today you have a student at the University of the Gambia. What is the role of the parent to ensure that his or her child is attending class, or his or her child is paying attention on the assignments? All those things are shared ownership or a shared responsibility that I believe when we talk of ownership at our level on education, we will take it as a shared responsibility.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. Anything to share, Dr.
You know, I think on our end, being that we receive them after commencement, which I think the word is very intentional, because that's when the journey begins.
Sure.
And I think ownership for us in the private sector is making education functional. Because once you enter the real world, it's solving problems. So how do we take something that's been molded for 12 or even 20 years and turn it into something that society could benefit from it? And by virtue of solving modern day problems and problems yet to come, it allows them to continuously learn. Sure. So the ownership comes in being open, being patient, but also trying to extract as much from young minds as possible so that they could maximize their truest potential, because that's when the entire ecosystem, the nation benefits from that. So that's where the sense of ownership comes in.
Yeah. So Kumbel, we haven't brought you here just to sit here because you mentioned the Career Fest earlier, and we're now talking about, and I'll tell you why I'm asking the next question. We recently advertised for interns here at QTV, and we got 75 people applied. There were 3 for us going. More than 45 of the 75 sent in CVs that in no way were a CV. Now I know that you know, these are some of the things that, you know, prevent people because they don't know what they need to do. So my question actually is about what are the current structural and cultural blockers actually that of shared ownership, and how can they be addressed?
Yes. I think for most of when you look about it culturally, I think for so long it's been ingrained in the minds of the masses that when we talk about education or when we talk about investing in education, that it's only the work of the government. So for so long we've had this dependency on external sources of funding or certain projects being enabled by the government, and those have been the only focus for so long. And that mindset we're at a point where that mindset has to shift, which is why this today happened, which is why, again, we're not calling it a donation drive, we're not calling it a fundraising drive, we're calling it an investment into education, because we believe that all the stakeholders have a stake, in essence, when it comes to education, whether it's a CSO, whether it's somebody from the private sector, the student themselves, the university admin, everybody has a stake in it. And sometimes you need to prepare an individual or group's mindset to that discussion, because it's a shift that cannot happen overnight, which is why we call it a culture. And of course, having, you did reference the Career Fest, having things like that is one way that we get people to understand that the investment does not always have to be financial. It can be in other ways as well. Investing in data is an investment. As Dr. Baji mentioned, seeing your stake as absorbing students, maybe through an internship program or employing them, or even coming out to see how the private sector can support in terms of curriculum reform. Those are other ways of investment as well. So I think once we start to see where each sect fits in, then it becomes easier to understand, and it becomes easier for them to then come forward and say, we can step in this way. During the Career Fest, we had different sessions, learning sessions again. And again, this was informed by the stakeholder engagement that we had. Gaps that students had expressed that they had, gaps that those in the industry had mentioned that they've seen or observed. And we collected all that data and fed it into the Career Fest. So all of the different sessions that we had were informed again from these stakeholders. So now we are seeing how all these parties are coming in together. So even though today's investment is financial, but there are different ways that the sectors can come in. Yeah.
But before I come back to Yasin, I think there will be some people who will be pledging today who will not be making financial pledges. And so I think that's a point that's worth making, because there are other ways that people can certainly help. So, Yasin.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's key there. When those areas exist where society sees that they can contribute, it's all about making it easy for them to also step into those roles. For a lot of people, I'm sure they are willing to support, invest, help, but they're not sure how to do it. So how can we then make it easy for others to step into those places? How can we make it easy for stakeholders to support government in implementing policies, then national internship and apprenticeship policy, for example? How do we encourage that participation?
So I think how we should be able to do that is to look at few of these responsibilities and take it off from the government, even though it's not entirely. But I think all of us, especially the private sector, has a role to play in that. I mean, one of the responsibilities of the government is to create a level playing ground where people come in to make investments, where universities from all around the world can come over and probably have a school here, where businesses from around the world can come here and have some of those areas. So I think once we move in that direction and relieve the government from some of those burdens, just like Dr. will always say, he could have stayed where he was at, making it big, right? But he decided to come over here. If others also are willing to do such things, it is going to be easier on the government to make sure that not just the unemployment rate is down, but also when young people are out of school, ready to be deployed in various institutions, we will have places where they're going to deploy them at. So basically, once we help government in reducing some of those burdens, I think it's going to be easier for all of us.
Yes, thank you very much. On my part, I believe we should move from consultation to implementation. My role here would be centered on education and that of the responsibilities of the students, because the role of the government is to prepare clear guidelines. Now it is the role of educators, or let's say education to ensure that they make programs that aligns with the industry needing. Because you look at programs that you can offer that at the end of the day employability is something that students can benefit from. On the side of the educators too, they should be able to prepare students for quality internships. We don't want students to, you and I attend the national internship policies. A reference from the Minister of Higher Education. He was saying we don't want to create internship opportunity for students or for our students where they will go and brew attire. All these things should be addressed by the educators. But then our role as students too is to ensure that when those internship opportunities are given, we act in a professional way. So for me, the stakeholder engagement would have to be a chain work. The government preparing a clear-cut guidelines, educators preparing programs that aligns with industry's needing, and students behaving professionally when those opportunities comes our way.
Perfect, thank you.
Dr. Baji, before you answer that specific one, sometimes your ears might be burning because here at QTB, when we give examples of Gambian-owned and run businesses, we mention Q Group, but we always mention yours because from the very first time we became aware of it, we were like, wow, this is a Gambian company producing quality products. But what's been your take in this particular section of the discussion, particularly in terms of getting, when you started, in terms of getting the quality and so on, but also the more difficult one is how do you engage with the policy makers to say, look, we don't want to be in a silo doing this. We are a private company, but we want to contribute in terms of policy, in terms of changing the policy, making the policy. Are there such avenues available?
Yeah, I think so. And I think I'm one of many great institutions that are built by Gambians, some of whom are homegrown. They never left, and bigger than mine. But I think it starts with being present. I think oftentimes the best ability is availability. And oftentimes people who are maybe profit-centered or business-oriented, we downplay policy until it affects our business. And then we want to participate when the moment to participate was behind. Right? So it's being available, being willing to engage in conversations. But I think the reality is the retirement age in Gambia is 60. Some may say it's too young. I'm 40 years old, so technically I only have 20 years of runway. So the private sector have to make a decision. If 70% of our population is under 30, right? Retirement age is 60. We're going to have an existential crisis really soon if we don't actually invest in human capital. So for every young person that comes through in Overex or any institution and there's a willingness to pour into that young person, I'm investing in the future of Gambia because at some point we're going to have to swap out the workforce. And right now we're a little bit behind, to be honest, because most people in the private sector will tell you we're struggling in the mid-level manager space. And that typically comes with people who have had 5-10 years of experience. So we're already here. So I look at it as, yes, it may be pouring into the country from a human capital perspective, but also is in investing in the workforce that has to be ready to take over as well. So it's almost like a quid pro quo between the state and the private owned businesses. But yeah, that's the way we look at it. We have to be available. We have to be willing to sit at meetings, sometimes whole day.
Most times whole day.
But also having centers of excellence. I think the more centers of excellence we have in different sectors of society and the economy where people that are intentional about human development, because you cannot be focused on business development. You have to be intentional about human development for this to work.
And this is something that we also need to regionalize so that they're not all in the kind of greater Banjul area. And then somebody who lives in the rural area doesn't have that aspiration. They have to come all the way, to this part of the country. Otherwise, if we don't do that, then, we're missing out on very, very talented people.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think...
Just to piggyback off of what Dr. mentioned, I think government will create the policies, will create the strategies, and sometimes what's required for participation is feedback. Like you mentioned, private sectors, other partners or other stakeholders have to be in those rooms. Because in as much as we might think, oh, it's just another meeting, whatever is informed in those rooms will eventually affect you. So when you're not in these rooms and when you're not having these discussions, or when you're not even aware of what's out there, eventually it will affect you. Yeah. So feedback is also important. Now I know in this current rule that the government is waiting for feedback, is expecting feedback, is welcome to that. So when stakeholders assume that, oh, government is one and everybody else is on the other side, yes, then nothing gets done. We need to come to a level where everybody sees their participation and sees each other's work as complementary.
Perfect. And that's a great way to put that in there. And as Ismaila mentioned, right, as you were talking, I almost saw it as a pyramid, right, of all the stakeholders there, with government building the structure that makes it easy for all of these systems to coexist and to thrive. But at each level of that pyramid there, those key stakeholders have a role to play to make the next level function in an easier way. And so that's what it is. It's all about connecting with others who can help you make the decisions that you need, asking questions, reaching out. I mean, when we had the Korea Fest, Dr. Baji was there as a mentor as well too. We had facilitators who were there all day running sessions for free. None of them charged to run these training programs. People are ready to invest in the country and to give back. The Thet Fund's financial budget, over 80% is provided by the government as well too. So you see all of these key ownership pieces here that are being implemented. We just need to make it easier for people to connect with each other, and it starts, as Kumbel said, with asking questions, giving feedback, and being open to working together as well.
Thanks for that. And once again, viewers and listeners, QTV and Star TV, throughout the night, so we'll be having people, they're waiting to come and pledge. But I think there's a question that we have to throw out, and I'll explain why. When I first came to the Gambia, I've been here almost 7 years now. Every year I go to the convocation at the University of the Gambia. And for the first 4 or 5 years, there were more lawyers and accountants, no civil engineers at all. So my team who are watching from the news team, they will tell you, when I saw the list of the most recent one, and there were civil engineers, I almost danced around the room. Why? Because the people who build our roads, our bridges, and other such infrastructure, when you go out, they're all foreigners that we've imported. Why? Because we're not growing our own. And if we don't do that through our own education system, then that will always be the case. And of course, if somebody comes from England, you pay not just their money, you pay for their family, you pay for them to travel X amount of times in and out of the country. You're spending more to hire those sorts of people. So in a long-winded way, what I really want to ask in this question before we go to the sort of next pledge, and this is for all of us, what would success look like in our education system in the Gambia in 5 or 10 years, based on how we want to maneuver the education system? What would education success look like? Doctor, if I could come to you first.
I think a lot of it will have to do with just self-reliance, but also rethinking what education even means in this day and age. I don't think we should think about a degree as education. Technology has been the greatest equalizer, but also going back to the rural-urban dynamic.
And AI is a game changer.
It's a game changer. So I would say success looks like a society that is productive at every level. And every child, the moment your faculties, you consider yourself that you could think, walk, talk, you should be productive in society. That could mean different things. Maybe 4-year degrees may not be what's necessary. Maybe a 1 year and start working may be what's necessary. So it's just being willing to change.
Yeah.
Because we need to adapt with where the world is.
Sure.
So I'm more of a fan of redefining what education actually means,
Sure.
but actually just being a productive society where majority of the people from 18 to, let's say, 60 are actually contributing in a productive way. That's what success will look like.
And before we come to you too, I was listening to the BBC yesterday, and there was a guy who is the owner of a company that does this power squirter thing.
Yes, the power hose.
Right? It's like a power gun that you squirt people with. Apparently it's now a multi-billion dollar business. But he invented, the first thing he did was when he was 13. And he said the fact that his parents encouraged him is what led him to eventually sort of develop that. And then this company, you know, he said when he got his second royalty check, he nearly had a heart attack. He couldn't believe how much money it made from something, but it started at 13. But just again, success in 10 years, if I could come to you in our education system.
So, success in 10 years from our point of view is, I mean, I think what we need to establish is all of us are gifted in our individual ways. Some of us are good with books, and some of them are good. Some of us are good in probably technology, and some of them is just machine things we're good at. So again, referencing from the career feast, you meet young people that are going through universities. You ask them, why are you doing what you're doing? They don't know. So some of them are even in their final years. Right? We find it.
Again,
what we need to do is probably provide young people with more mentorships to know who they are and what they want to do at a given time. I think once we succeed in doing that, then we will have more young people doing the things that they're passionate about, not just the thing that the society push them to do. I think that's one thing that we need to establish. Once that's done, the other thing also is the young people that probably go through the formal way of education. One thing at our level is sometimes the young people we give opportunities to go through internships. Sometimes we have host institutions becomes a problem. Probably it's because those within those institutions feel insecure that these are fresh graduates from the universities. They're coming in with degrees.
Probably you have your work cut out for you.
Probably they will take our jobs from us, which we don't believe will be the case. But I think it's also the willingness for institutions to be able to absorb these fresh minds, because once they come in with new ideas or probably a lot of things that they learn. But also once they get to these institutions also, they should be able to see themselves as people that don't know anything. They are in to learn from the best practices of the institution and those that are working within these institutions. And also, there are those that also go through the TVET, right? And I think the society we live in also see those that go through TVET as failures.
You don't think that's changing a bit now?
So even though it's changing, but we still have a problem.
Right.
And then I think this problem is just merely above some of us. It's deeply rooted within our societies. For instance, the scholarship we are giving. For instance, the scholarship we are giving right now to young people to go and learn TVET at the NYSS. So those that get it, and they will tell them those that get the scholarship to go in, to go to do the TVET, they will consider them as failures that doesn't have probably 5 credits, including English and Maths, to go through different universities. So I think some of these problems, once we are able to tackle them, we will have a better society that does not discriminate X person from X person. And considering the fact that we also know that all of us are gifted in one way, we all heading towards one direction, which is to have a better society where all of us can live and thrive. I think once we have those ones settled, probably 10 years down the line, we will have a better Gambia.
I've been told that we have to wrap up very quickly. So in a sentence or two.
For us, please. In 10 years, success in education would have to be having equitable education and inclusive education. And the key indicators for that is universal access and you have skilled workforce.
Yeah.
Universal access in the sense that nobody should be deprived of education by their gender, their disability, and whatever location that they have to see themselves in. Skilled workforce, we must be able to produce graduates that will be needed for proper employability. Those are the success or key indicators of education for me in the next 10 years.
Beautifully put. And at this point, we'd like to thank our panelists. Thank you for some really, really good insights from all of you. We really appreciate it. And at this juncture, I'd like to ask our producer, could we have the video from Mohammed Jah, who's the chairman of the Thet Fund, please?
Together, that this is worth committing to. To organizations, I do say this is good for you too. You are investing in your own future workforce, partners, and customers. To individuals, especially our diaspora, I do like to say you know better than anyone what opportunity did for you. Give another Gambian student a chance, the same chance you had. The returns on this investment will be seen in stronger institutions, more skilled graduates, thriving businesses, and a more prosperous nation. I call all of you to join the Pledge-A-Thon. Make your pledges, and let's build tomorrow together. One pledge at a time.
Make a pledge today. Join us in investing in education and empowering the future. For pledge inquiries, email kgoode@thetfund.gm. That's KGOODE@thetfund.gm, or email info@thetfund.gm, or call +220 502 2898. That's +220 502 2898. Building tomorrow, one pledge at a time. Thank you for supporting the Thet Fund.
And the theme that you'll be hearing throughout the program, Building Tomorrow, One Pledge at a Time. And I don't know about you, Yasin, but I really enjoyed the panel discussion. Some really good insights from those people and some really good questions from you, particularly like that. And it drew out the thing. And, it's what we're talking about. We're talking about education and the importance of education. And I think that came through, where do we see ourselves? 5, 10 years and more, and so it was good. So yes, so viewers and listeners, hope you enjoyed that. So QTV, linking up with Star TV and Q Radio, and you can join us. And we've said, and to those who called in, thank you for calling in. We appreciate the fact that you called. The folks on the phone were getting a bit lonely, and soon we'll have on screen some of the pledges that have come in whilst we've been on air. And once again, I'll give the numbers: 359-3333, 359-4444, and 359-8888. Call in and yes, pledge. Yasin, as I said, really enjoyed that. What's next?
Yeah, so next we have, actually before we go to the next segment, I also just want to comment on Mr. Mohammed Jah's video there as well, to our board chair at the Thet Fund. And he mentions that the private sector shouldn't be a passive investor. And so that's what we're looking for even in our pledges today. They're all continued and sustained partnerships that we're looking to build as well too. And one that we have here is our next segment of pledges that are joining us. And in the studio we have with us here, please go ahead and
Aliuba, please introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be part of the team here, and I'm representing FP Africa as the sales manager.
Okay. And can you tell us something about what FP Africa does? What sort of business is it?
Yes, it's a company that fabricates roofing sheets and then some other prefab housings Like for the past years, we have made a lot of chicken houses for schools.
Okay.
Yeah, throughout the country, to enable students to be able to learn a lot into agriculture, which has helped a lot in the education sector.
Thank you.
And a lot more we have also contributed.
So the big question, why are you here tonight, and why does FP Africa believe that it's important to invest in education?
Yeah, because to invest in education, it's like we are supporting the grassroots of this country. And then Gambia, or in West Africa, we lack a little. So with this state, I think it will be good. But it will be good to support like the youths. But we have to support also the youth for them to be willing to achieve something.
Sure.
Because if you bring like a project for the youths without helping them, it will be very difficult for them to concentrate and then do what is expected of them. I am an example. I graduated, went to GTTI, did my 3 years course there, certificate, Diploma 1 and Diploma 2. Then from there, I have the opportunity with the MOU the GTTI have with FP Africa.
Okay.
I was able to be one of the students who joined FP Africa as an attaché. And thank God, that's how I was employed.
And here you are now,
yeah, so
sales manager.
It's just a matter of concentrating on what you are doing. So I think the youths need more support to that. So I think also Thet is doing a great job to make sure that the youth have something useful for themselves in life and for the country also.
Thank you. Now, before we come to Ali Ba, who's going to, the director has just told me that an anonymous call has come in and someone has pledged, are you ready? $1 million. So there you have it on screen. And it's real. They did verify. And yes, we've had a donation of $1 million, which has really taken us a kind of giant leap forward. Yes. So that's really, really exciting.
It's a big gift.
Yes, indeed. So Ali, if I could ask you to do the honors and formally present the check from FP Africa. And I think Kumbel is going to receive it. Please. And really, I mean, I know you've told us why you're doing it, but we can't let you go without saying a big thank you. Because, okay, we've heard somebody pledged $1 million, but, you know, every amount. And you've actually told us, and even more beautiful, you've given us your example, that you are somebody who has been there and now you're the sales manager and here you are representing the company on such a big stage. So, you know, not only congratulations to you, but also congratulations to FP Africa for taking that leap forward.
Yeah, for sure. What an amazing example of how this can
That's right.
work.
We had no idea that.
That's that story there, right? And so it shows the commitment of FP Africa, but also that the system does work.
Indeed.
Right? A structured internship or apprenticeship or attachment can translate into long-term employment for our students and our youth. And so thank you for coming on here. Thank you to FBA Africa for their donation and their commitment.
And thank you to our anonymous donor who has pledged $1 million. Yes,
for sure.
Yes, Kumbel, is there something you wanted to? you're so smiling from ear to ear.
Like, who received the call and how what details can we get?
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, we'll get all those details, of course, from and you know, we heard the finance director earlier telling us about accountability and also about transparency. I mean, these things matter when it comes to money. People get very, very touchy about, oh, I wonder where my money is going. I wonder how it's going to be spent. Yeah. Well, he's told us, you know, they report, and you know, those reports, I presume, you know, in time, people can say, you know, I'd like to access and see where my money has gone. Yeah. So, well done. And once again, thank you to our 1 million, and thank you, Aliuba and FP Africa. Yeah. And again, congratulations on the fact that you were able to transition from being somebody who was on attachment to where you are now, permanently employed.
They really supported me.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you guys fabricate, corrugated iron roofs. There was a time when we used to import all of those from everywhere else, even though we had the raw material.
Is one of our #1 customers as well.
Is that right?
Okay. They patronize us.
Oh, wow, wonderful. Well, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And so now we have yet another of the videos where somebody's going to tell us why it is very important to get involved in this, and we have Kani Job. Please, Mr. Producer, can you run?
Partners, it also makes a difference into ensuring that benefits from projects that they institute and the institutions that they try to strengthen do not end after the project ends. It delivers lasting value and benefits so that Africa does not remain, or the Gambia does not remain dependent on short-term projects and aid, so it translates into lasting value. So for philanthropists as well, when you invest in the education of someone, you're investing for generations. So it doesn't, because education doesn't just benefit the person, it benefits your family, your community, and ultimately the country. And then whoever is capacitized, skilled, or educated, make sure that it continues on with their legacy. So for a philanthropist, this is actually a lasting give that you are doing. It's a lasting donation that doesn't stop at one person. I would encourage everyone to see it as something that is of personal benefit, because if we invest in the education of the Gambian citizen, we're ensuring, as I said earlier, that national benefit is lasting, that it's sustained, and that all the industries and all the sectors of society that we participate in or that we expect value from are upheld to the highest standards. So it starts from the plumber, investing in higher education in skills and ensuring that these are standardized, ensures that when you have a plumber that comes to your house, they don't end up ruining what they came to repair. It continues on to our clothes. It ensures that more jobs are created for not just ourselves, but for our progeny and our kids and descendants as well. It ensures that we have safer infrastructure, well-designed roads, schools, and hospitals. It ensures that we train teachers who are going to also train hundreds of students and future generations. It makes the difference between the nurse and the doctor that saves lives versus the mechanic that makes sure that your car is running. And so it cuts across every sector of society. Across every sector, there is absolutely no sector, from the agricultural, the industrial, the entrepreneurship, the financial services, the healthcare services, that does not benefit from a well-educated and a better skilled population.
Make a pledge today. Join us in investing in education and empowering the future. For pledge inquiries, email kgoode@thetfund.gm. That's KGOODE @thetfund.gm, or email info@thetfund.gm, or call +220 502 2898. That's +220 502 2898. Building tomorrow, one pledge at a time. Thank you for supporting the Thet Fund.
Yes, and welcome back. And if you've been paying attention to the bottom of your screen, you'll see that the amount has gone up to $2,351,540. Why is that? Because yet another, we had an institution pledge $1 million, another institution has also pledged $1 million, and they've also asked us to keep it anonymous. And in a minute, we're going to go through a list of people who've also pledged. In the main, they've not asked to remain anonymous. I think only one has asked to remain anonymous. Yeah, we're super excited here. So on the screen, you'll see 2,351,540. And then after we go through the list, we have somebody here. Very excited we are about this, because they're going to make an in-studio pledge. Yes. Okay. So over to you, Yasin. Shall we go through the folks who not minded their names being read out and the amounts they're pledging.
Yeah, for sure. And so our first one here, we have Yafa Tunjai of Pinky's Kitchen and Food Processing. That has pledged 1,000 dalasis.
Thank you. And I have Dr. Lamin Dabo of Compost Village, who has also pledged 1,000 dalasis. Thank you.
And we have a Gambian footballer who has asked to remain anonymous as well too, who has pledged 10,000. Actually.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I have Mr. Modu Tal of Premium TV, and he has also pledged 10,000. Well done.
And our next pledger here is Mr. Musa Sanya, an individual in the diaspora, who has pledged 15,000 dalasis.
15,000 dalasis. And I have Mr. Esa Wali of Interstate Shipping, who has pledged 20,000 dalasis. Woohoo!
And last but not the least, we have Mrs. Jared Jang, who's an individual in the diaspora who has pledged 30,000 dalasis.
So I hope you're totting up the numbers for us. So on the screen we have 2,351,540.
Amazing.
And so now back to Yasin, our next in-studio presentation.
Yes, and very pleased to welcome here Mrs. Jilan Fai, General Manager of Global Properties. I'll let you do the honors of introducing yourself as I've fully just done. So welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Mr. Fraser, our Managing Director and CEO. Jilan Fai, the General Manager of Global Properties. Yes.
And so why does Global Property think it's important to invest in this way?
I mean, investing in our people is also investing in our business, because at the end of the day, whatever we're giving out, it's coming back to us.
Sure.
In terms of, for example, employability, right?
Sure.
When we're investing in these students to be able to come back and be skill ready so that they can come back into our institutions and support us, it's giving it back to us as a company. So we're definitely invested in that, and as a company, we want to see the nation grow and people coming up and bringing it back to our institutions so that we can benefit from it. So that's one way of saying the circle goes around.
It's brilliantly put.
So definitely, Mr. Fraser is a big supporter, and
yes,
he's very keen on it, and that's why we're here, and we're happy to be on board and pledging today.
And we're thrilled. We haven't revealed the amount yet, so please, now for the big reveal and for the formal handing over of the check.
There you go.
The reveal is 100,000.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so there you have it. I mean, we're having businesses, we're having individuals. We ran through that list. Some people said, yes, I don't mind my name being out there. A couple of institutions said, no, we don't. It's not about us. It's just that we want to show our support by pledging today and getting involved in this. And so, yeah, I mean, right at the top of the hour, we said, this was an unusual thing for the Gambia, and we didn't know how it would be embraced and how people would kind of, buy into it. But I think everybody who's kind of come along today, those who've sort of pledged in person and those who've been on the phone via email and so on, they've all kind of indicated why it is they felt it's important to get involved in something like this.
Yeah, exactly. And we see that commitment in our office every day as well too. People are reaching out to meet the fund, to share what work they're already doing out there to support the Gambian youth and how can they partner with us. And we still encourage that. It goes beyond that financial contribution. We have lots of people who are still interested and willing to work and invest in the Gambian education system. And we're excited that these financial contributions are going towards the work that we saw through our stakeholder engagement that is needed to transform the education system.
Yeah,
so
great.
We're excited to keep it going.
And Dr. Giorgio had said, that, the government had given 50 million to kind of get this fund kick-started, and then, went on, then Mohamed Jah contributed, and now we're kind of reaching out to people, to institutions, to individuals, to say, this is for all of us. It's not for, one person or one section of the community or the society or the country. It's for everybody. It's for the Gambia as a whole. You know, people talk about this a lot, but this is actually them living up to that and going beyond words and beyond the mere rhetoric of talking about, you know, I believe in education. It's easy to say, but putting your money where your mouth is a lot harder, and that's what people are doing. And so, you know, we're really, really grateful that folks are doing that. And yeah, thank you for those who've pledged and who are about to pledge.
Yes. I think we need a moment where I can scream. Yes.
Like they say in
having
those
one
clubs,
video come and then having another. I was thinking you guys might need to give me a minute to scream and get excited.
I don't think we gave it enough.
We didn't give it enough.
I think screams are allowed.
Yes,
screams are allowed, particularly to get such big, you know, big and small donations. But you know, we're trying to kind of make a kind of step change, and you know, to do that we have to be honest. It needs funds, you know. And I think, Kumbel, you made the point very, very early on in this program that it's not just about today. Today is the start of it. It's not the end of it. You know, so when this program ends, they've got the email, they've got the phone numbers. It can carry on, and it must carry on if we're serious about this. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Indeed. It's a journey.
Yep. And so we have our next guest who's about to pledge. So please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
My name is Mohamed Juara. I work with the Gambia Revenue Authority. I'm here on behalf of the Commission General of the Gambia Revenue Authority to make a pledge.
Well, thank you. And so why does, I mean, we know that GRA, you get people from all over, you know, universities and so on. Why does GRA think it's important to invest in education? This might be an obvious question, but we'll still want it answered.
Yeah, thank you. You know, we all know education is not only merely learning about the facts. Ultimately, education gives dignity to people, and also innovation, and it also equips future generation to actually play their part in developing the country, and actually equipping them of supporting education will go in a long way actually in creating a lot of ideas, and those ideas generate into products, and those products can generate revenue. And as you know, we are taxman. The more revenue that are generated, the more potential we have to tax.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we felt that we also needed to take part in actually helping, in actually pledging to actually help the younger generation or the future generation.
And please give our regards to the Commissioner General, because not only in the way that you guys have digitized and actually increased revenue collection, has been nothing short of remarkable over the last 2 or 3 years.
And I think you will also agree with me that those innovations or those reforms are actually paying a lot of dividend. And those reforms are generated by ideas. Those ideas actually help, especially when it comes to ICT, and actually investing in a lot of areas in ICT have helped GRA, and we hope many other institutions will also copy. Yes, but ultimately helping the younger generation to have financing, to have some kind of finance to education will help a lot.
Okay. So now, may we ask you to do the big reveal in terms of how much GRA is pledging today, and to formally hand over to Kumbel the check, please.
On behalf of the Commissioner General, I've pledged 200,000.
Thank you, Kumbel, or who's to receive? So please, and if you turn that way, face the.
Thank you. So this is the pledge from the GRA to Thet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And there you had from GRA 200,000, and obviously we thank them. And he's also explained to us why it is why it's important that they should. And so next we're going to call for a video from Mr. Taff himself. Njai, the one and only producer. Please run that very, very good video. I watched it earlier.
So we have a responsibility in building human capital. And by doing so, education is key. Knowledge is number one in anything that you do. I mean, nations are ahead because of knowledge. And seeking knowledge at this higher level is not only in the Gambia, but history tells us, even in religion, the Prophet ﷺ, who we all follow in Islam, the first thing that he was asked when the Prophet came to him was Iqra bismi rabbika, that's learn, seek knowledge. So nations are ahead of each other based on knowledge. So it is timely for countries like the Gambia, within our development, that we invest in knowledge, and that can best be done in higher education. Well, my message is that, look, you are not doing it as a philanthropic gesture. You are not doing it because you're doing a favor to anybody. You are investing in yourself. Being within the boundaries of the Gambia means that you need to develop human capital. You will have to use human capital. Take, for example, people like us in the private sector. I mean, if we don't have workers who are trained, who are educated, then we will not progress, and progressing means making money, which the private sector does. So I want to call on all members of the public, philanthropies, diaspora members, international organizations, members of the private sector, that we need to join this fund, which is Pledge-A-Thon, to make a difference, that we're investing in ourselves, we're investing in human capital, and these are our future employees who will be trained to come and serve at a time.
Make a pledge today. Join us in investing in education and empowering the future. For pledge inquiries, email kgoode@thetfund.gm. That's KGOODE @thetfund.gm, or email info@thetfund.gm, or call +220 502 2898. That's +220 502 2898. Building tomorrow, one pledge at a time. Thank you for supporting the Thet Fund.
I'll echo my words on the screen there. Thank you for supporting the Thet Fund, and thank you for supporting the Pledge-A-Thon. As we said right at the beginning, this is very unusual. We haven't done something like this before. It's kind of like a telethon, but not quite. And you'll see on the screen $2,651,540. And who knows, hopefully by the end we might hit 3 million. Hey, we can dream, eh? And so we're coming close to the end of the program, and thank you for staying with us if you've been with us right through the beginning. And next, I have a gentleman from the International Trade Center who's going to introduce himself and tell us why they're supporting this initiative.
Thank you very much. My name is Asan Nimbalan, working with the International Trade Center as the monitoring as well as the skills development lead at the International Trade Center. ITC also wants to play its part in this Thet Fund program. But before then, I just want to give a little bit of context with ITC as well as skills.
Sure.
The International Trade Center, it is a UN agency as well as the World Trade Organization. And then it is the UN agency that is mandated in supporting small and medium-sized businesses in the developing countries. And then currently, in the International Trade Center, it is the one that is implementing the Youth Empowerment Project for Tourism and Creative Industries, which is funded by the European Union. And then ITC, in its work over the years, in every project that it implements, it makes sure that skills plays a very important role in all these projects. We have a special component on the skills. Right now, we have a program which is called the Sky Fund, which is the skills for youth employment. And then right now we've already supported over 200 students by the end of the year that will be graduating. And then all those students after their graduation, ITC will also be supporting them in startup kits. Building on that context, ITC also wants to lend a support in the Thet Fund in providing institutional capacity in one of the target TVET centers that the Thet Fund will be supporting, precisely which is the the Thet Center, which is at Julangel. IDC will be taking up the responsibility to support that institution in providing the materials and equipment that are required for the functioning of that Thet institution.
Wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you. And before anybody else comes in, let me just say once again, big shout out to our partners in this, Star TV. They're also carrying this, and also Q Radio, who are carrying this. Yasin, did you want to come in, or Kumbel?
Yeah. Actually, Modu has been working closely
Thank you
with
so much,
yeah.
IDC. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
As we have been saying, providing teaching materials, learning materials is a very, very big support that the Thet Fund is trying to at least provide to the institution. So coming on board to join the Thet Fund in providing teaching learning materials to Julangel is well appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. And that skills building piece is key. All of the partners here, all of the conversations we've had has built on that, right? We invest in our youth, we invest in skills development.
Right.
That will be the engine that drives development.
Yes, and that beautifully takes us to our final video of the night. But of course, it's not the end, because there's another big donation that we're going to announce. But we'll watch this video with Babukar Saho, and then we'll announce that really big one from a big institution. Have a look at this meanwhile.
Because if you talk about construction, if you talk about mechanics and a whole lot of other things that goes into the technical areas, industry will tell you that they do not have the skilled manpower in country to fill these positions. So I think investment in advancing those skills on a higher level will create that leverage to get our people employed. All stakeholders have an unwritten obligation to continue to contribute to our development as a nation, particularly when it comes to education. When it comes to education, it's educating young people and educating the entire population. Because I believe there are other people who are not young people or youth, but are still pursuing education or need to be educated. So that responsibility is a collective civic responsibility that we all owe to our young generation and to ourselves. And I think we need to pay more attention on education. You know, the type of education, you know, the curriculums that we have, you know, even the setup of our classrooms, even the student per teacher ratio. So these are all things that goes into informing the quality of education, in this case, higher education. So I think all stakeholders need to shift more attention to this area. And I think government could take the lead by increasing the budget that is allocated to the education ministry, perhaps. While we continue to leverage on development partners. Every dalasi spent in education is never wasted. One of the things that never goes old is education. The businesses that we continue to encourage to, you know, invest their dime, you know, in this laudable cause, because it goes to fund a future generation. It goes to fund a group of people who would be properly equipped to add value to those very businesses that contributed to this initiative. So the private sector have continuously been contributing its part in terms of CSR, in terms of the broader national agenda. But I think something like this provides so much clarity because it's very specific in terms of what the contributions are going to do. So as a private sector representative body, we urge and call on every business to contribute to this laudable cause, because every dime spent in education is never a waste.
Make a pledge today. Join us in investing in education and empowering the future. For pledge inquiries, email kgoode@thetfund.gm. That's KGOODE @thetfund.gm, or email info@thetfund.gm, or call +220 502 2898. That's +220 502 2898.
And we did say we'd end at 11 o'clock. We haven't quite managed it, but we're almost there. And so we've just really come into the closing part of this. I've certainly found it interesting, exciting. I don't know about you,
Yes,
Yasin. I hope
have.
you have too. And I hope the viewers have. And we've had a couple of pledges that we must read out here. Samba C has pledged $280. So thank you for that. And Yasin, I think you've had one as well.
Yeah, and we have a student, Ansumana Tamba, who has pledged $200 as well too. And we have 2 contributions that have come in from the diaspora as well too, Gambians in the diaspora of $200 in total, and another anonymous Gambian donor of $10,000. So thank you all very much.
And then our final donation from an institution. Unfortunately, they weren't able to have somebody here to present. It is none other than the Gambia Tourism Board, and they have pledged 100,000, and that's been added to our total. I was hoping we'd get to 3 million. We haven't quite, but as we keep saying, it doesn't end here. It carries on after this program ends, okay? And so $2,752,020, that is our grand total so far, I have to keep saying.
So far.
And that brings us really to the end of the program. On my part, just like to thank all of the people who have pledged, obviously, all of you for watching and listening. And I have to apologize that we've done the whole of this in English. I know some people were very concerned that we didn't use local language at all. So apologies for that, because I think, you know, for a lot of people, they felt slightly excluded. And I think that's a learning thing for us, yes? But thank you to all the panelists who came in, some very, very good insights from them. Yasin, who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank the crew. Of course, we've been live on Star TV as well, too, to all our viewers over there as well, to the QTV crew, all of our partners and our pledges as well, to all of our stakeholders. Thank you all very much.
And I think that's it. Just leaves for us to say thank you for watching. And don't forget, Kumbel, tell them where they can send emails.
Send your emails to info@thetfund.gm. The pledge doesn't stop today.
The pledge doesn't stop today. And building tomorrow, one pledge at a time.
One pledge at a time.
And I particularly like the pledge from a student. Imagine we're talking about helping students and so on, and we have a student actually contributing to helping students. So from our panelists, if we just like to say your final goodbyes.
Thanking everyone. We have pledges from series of different institutions. We have pledges from the international organization. We have pledges from individual. We have pledges from the student. We really appreciate everyone, and thanks to QTV for the partnerships. Thanks to Star TV for the partnership. We really appreciate everything. Thank you.
Yes.
I think that's it. Just a big thank you to everybody, the crew behind the screens, you know, from Mr. Bala Kurubali, from Francis Boahen, from Ali Jallo. I could go through other, you know, Bakari Sane. Anybody I leave out is going to be upset,
Francis.
Omar Jah, etc., etc. So Maya, who's been taking pictures all throughout the program. But really, we have to wrap up. We did say 11 o'clock. It's now 4 minutes past 11. So thank you once again to QTV, you know, for hosting this, to Star TV for also streaming it, and to Q Radio for also streaming it. Goodbye, and don't forget, it does not end here. It carries on. Thank you.